Hal Galper's trio explores standards, originals, and group improvisation utilizing rubato playing, an open and circular approach to time and melody that Hal has been exploring and developing over the last several years.
Style, if you want to call it that, it just crept out. And it was just happening naturally. I didn't figure it out. I didn't try to do it. And I thought, gee, this is weird. But I feel very comfortable doing it. If you listen to my recording history, which is what I did once I started, I went back over my recording history and I see that this tendency to play this way was always a part of my concept, but I never considered it a separate thing. I just considered it as, there would be a time where I'd want to go rubato in a tune or play free in a tune. And this theme of rubato playing kind of existed all the way through my career. So I guess it was a natural thing that was there that I never really picked up on. If I had been playing the rubato continuously since I was young, I may not have been able to play it as well as I'm playing it now, because what I got from being a professional, in other words, from being able to play with all different kinds of groups and play all different kinds of music and deal with all different kinds of concepts, I don't think I would have been able to do it as well as I can do it now. So I think, even though I look back and may regret that I hadn't been doing it longer, the truth is I probably couldn't do it as well as I'm doing it now. In this music, the harmony is the guide, not the melody, because we could stretch. Rubato means to rob from one beat and give to another. So it means you stretch the time. So we can take a chord that would normally last 4 beats and play for 5 or 6. As long as we're all on the same chord, we know where we are. So the harmonic structure is crucial to this kind of music. It has to be very, very clear. So I have to pick tunes that we play that, unless we're playing totally free, that have a strong harmonic structure. Jeff played with my working trio in the 90s for 7 years, so we really kind of hooked up then. And Jeff and John have been playing together for 20 years, so one always wants to have a mated rhythm section wherever possible, and these two guys are mated. And Jeff, well, can I say, he follows me real good.
His sense of the beat is it's a very wide cavern kind of thing, and we both kind of love being in that space.
John Bishop, he started playing with us about 4 years ago, and this was a totally new concept for him, the rubato style, and he took to it like a duck to water, and he's really been developing in this direction. He's so supportive, and so his comprehension of what we're trying to do was so complete. It's just been an absolute thrill to have him.
There's those special times when you start doing something together where you didn't plan it. It's just like everybody seems to intuitively sense that this is the moment. And that happens a lot. That happens a lot with my favorite players, John Bishop, and there are many other drummers too that I love. I like that. And usually the thing I love about that is that we have that chemistry.
In bebop, you have foreground and background. You have the rhythm section playing a very simple, although infectious, quarter note background that clarifies the foreground. In other words, it's easier to understand something complex if you can relate it to something simple. In the rubato playing, in the trio, there is no background. It's all foreground. It's a group improv event where everybody is improvising, kind of like Dixieland. So in that sense, you can't listen to the music in the same way. Also, although from time to time we do slip into 4/4 because it feels just right to do so, the time is still occurring, but it's not a snap your fingers kind. It's more of a pulse, more of a motion, of moving physically, more of the beat is always there, but we're using it as a guide and not really stating it clearly all the time, and subdividing the beat and playing very complex rhythms and harmonies.
Musically, it's what goes on, I think, in our brains when we're playing anyway. With other groups, it's just in this one, we get to act on it.
You get to engage your intuitive nature right away. I mean, if you're not listening, you're not going to be there in that kind of setting. You're just not going to work out. It's not going to work out. Or if you are of a mind where you think it should be here and not there, so I'm going to push it and make sure that I try to make it here, that stuff doesn't work in there.
For me as a drummer, I'm filling way more roles than I usually would just playing straight ahead bebop. My role is not to just lay down the time in this. My role is more to, well, I think of this trio as having a fourth member, which would be time. And my job would be to play along with time without aping the time. It will always be there, so I can react freely with Jeff and Hal, and we can stroll, we can, create longer phrases, shorter phrases, we can do different things. Time is always going to be there, and we all know where it is, but we don't have to play it.
This band listens to each other like a hawk, and we play freely over forms. We keep the tune.
Any other band, you're going to be thinking arrangements, you're going to be thinking how you're feeling about, locking in time and getting things locked together, and you're thinking locked is a word that comes up a lot. With this, you're thinking the exact opposite. I have to be completely relaxed, and you just have to be mentally and physically relaxed, and then you just go.
I'm a melodist, and I like melodies. So, also I don't have a political or a social agenda. At the time that free music was coming about, there was a strong political agenda to the music, which I think hurt the music, and social agenda to the music. This is just music for music's sake. So I don't think it has some of the anger and the cutting edge of the music, of the early music. But it's still free. Someone once asked Philly Joe, how come you don't play free music? And Philly Joe said, I've always played free. So freedom is always there. I feel though that freedom within a discipline communicates better than freedom without a discipline.
What's amazing about this is Hal being so open to letting us direct whatever, and he will go along with it too. I mean, it's his name on the marquee and he's out there in front, but we have as much control over it as he does.
When we get into a thing where we've been bubbling around and kind of being creative and floating for a while, and then all of a sudden we pop into this 4/4, 4 on the floor, that just, it's ecstasy when that hits.